You know, at what age do we start thinking about retirement? When is it not too early, or when is it maybe too late? Well, we decided to bring someone in today that could share some light on that, and that is Justin Struble with WealthCaps, who is not a broker, he's a fixer.
That's right.
That's your. How you doing?
Good.
Good
Thanks
to have
for
you on
having
the
me.
show. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you decided to get into helping people plan their future.
I've always loved investing and planning and doing it personally. I was actually an engineer by degree, worked as an engineer, but really it wasn't my passion, and I wanted to get into this and almost be that financial coach for people.
And that's one thing that a lot of people need is some financial coaching, because we get into our twilight years like me. I'm fast approaching retirement. I'm only a few years away from it. I know it's surprising to you, but I am. And so, it's one of the things. Let's talk about retirement planning then, which is something that people should start thinking about when.
The critical realm is those 5 years before retirement, really 10 years, but those 5 years you can make the fine-tuned adjustments, make sure you're on track, see if you need to work longer, save more, make sure you're actually where you want to be for retirement. And then those first 5 years of retirement are the most critical for what happens with your money, whether it's in the market or whether it's protected, and how it goes. So that 10-year window is extremely critical for retirees.
Now, I'm sure that people who, as soon as they hit retirement, is like, oh, right, I'm retired now, let's go out, have some fun, spend some money, but they're not thinking further on down the line.
Every day is a Saturday, right? When you're
exactly,
retired?
exactly.
That's right.
And then, your significant other's try kicking you out of the house, saying, okay, you need to do something, you're bugging me to death. But so you need to plan again for it. Talk about, if you would, just a little bit about some of the products and services that you offer there at WealthCaps.
The biggest thing we do is financial planning, but obviously we invest people's money. We offer annuities, life insurance, even long-term care, and we partner with people who provide health care and a variety of other services. So we really take that big picture approach and sit down with people when they come in, and it's, all right, what are your needs? Let's lay it out and see where the gaps are, and then if you need this, we can work on finding the best option for you versus, do you need an annuity for income? Do you have money you want to set aside for the kids? And it's really, you have college savings you're still trying to do for the kids, so or grandkids even. So there's a lot of variables, but it's really a matter of sitting down and saying, all right, what's your goals? What's the big picture? And where are the gaps that maybe you're not even seeing when you come in?
Do you find more and more younger people people that start at a younger age, planning their future, looking at different investments and what are available to them and what's good for that particular person?
Yeah, and the internet these days, anybody can think they're an expert on anything. But it gives a lot of tools for a lot of people to go on there and do some research. So a lot of people come in and already have an idea of what kind of things they want. But we always step back and say, all right, let's look at the big picture and make sure that's actually what you do want. Because sometimes there's options that are available that they didn't happen to find on the internet. So by all means, do your research ahead of time, but keep that open mind when you come in. There may be even better option than what you're thinking. Because
a lot of it may depend on, okay, as you said, your goal for the future, how much you're making, how much can you afford to set aside, what is a good investment for you, whether it's a Roth 401k, something like IRA. There's different ones.
Taxes are a huge part of it because you got to. The only thing you care
Uncle
about.
Sam's going to get his part really quick, isn't he?
That's right. The only thing you care about is after-tax money.
Right.
So that's really the bottom line. And so just blindly saying, hey, we're putting away for retirement is great, but you also need to figure out what the tax implications are in retirement. Is your Social Security going to be taxed? When you draw out a 401k, it bumps your income up, then your Social Security may be even more taxed. When you or your spouse passes away, the other one may actually be paying more taxes after that, even though the income dropped.
Really?
That's an amazing thing I see a lot of is you'll have a couple that's doing fine in retirement. Say the husband passed away. The wife's income drops 25%, and she's now paying even more taxes than she was as a married couple, just because the tax brackets are different, and it may even cause her Social Security to be taxed where it wasn't before. So it really blindsides a lot of people when they're in their 80s.
It would have me. Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's a huge thing, and so that's really what we do as retirement planning and income planning. I mean, it's easy to say, all right, you've got income, I'm going to retire, and this is where my income's coming from. But now what happens when one of you passes away? What if you need long-term care? These are all the variables we look at and say, all right, these are your risk factors that could mess up your retirement. How do we mitigate those ahead of time and not get blindsided 20 years down the road or 10 years down the road?
We see a lot of people, I mean, that are past the age of retirement. I do. I mean, that have taken like a second, a little part-time job somewhere.
Yeah, it's that there's a name for it now. It's called an encore career.
An encore
career. And that's what it is if it's proactive. If it's reactive and you say, hey, we're out of money, I don't have enough income, now you've got to go get that job. But you do see a lot of people that are retiring early and they go for their encore. They get into something they love to do or want to do, whether they get paid or not, but it keeps them active because retirees today are so much more active than they were 30 years ago. So when you retire, you're not just going to sit around and stare at the TV all day.
Right.
Some people might, but most people want to go travel.
It ends up being detrimental to your health in the long run.
It does.
So, got a couple of minutes left. Let's talk about your retirement survival guide that you have there, Justin.
Retirement survival guide. This is a report I wrote, and it really lays out the 9 mistakes most retirees make. And what I do in here is I tell a story about Tom and Jane, and they retired 10 years ago at 63 years old. And it's real life scenarios. It talks about Katrina, it talks about the market crashing, and it really positions their health throughout their retirement. Excuse me. And so now, 10 years later, it tells the story, and these are the 9 mistakes they made that have really cost them a big time. And it actually cost them, in their case, over $435,000. And it's little stuff. It's investing in your company's stock. It's not planning that income, that tax implications down the road. And it really adds up. And that's the value of financial planning. It's oftentimes $100,000 value or more for people just to make sure all these moving parts are aligned for an efficient retirement.
So if they are interested in getting that retirement guide, I guess they can call you, maybe make an appointment for a free consultation?
They can call. They can even go to our website. We offer this on the website, wealthcaps.com, and they can sign up, and we'll mail it right to them. They'll get the physical copy. They won't have to just read it online. So.
Oh, that's great. So something they kind of refer to and maybe sit down and really look at, here's where I stand right now. I plan on retiring in 3, 4, 5 years. This is what I need to do to make sure that those golden years post-retirement.
It's eye-opening to anybody retiring just to look at the mistakes most people are making. Because if you just go to the coffee shop or talk to the neighbor, you're just going to say, oh, well, he's doing that, so I'm going to do that. When there may be big pictures that you're both screwing up.
Wow. Justin Struble, Wealth Caps, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Enlighten us with some information regarding retirement. If you have some, some questions, the number's on your screen. Website, as he said, you can go on there. You can request your free retirement survival guide, and they'll be glad to mail that to you. Or, again, you can go by for a free consultation and make sure that your retirement years, your golden years, are going to be safe and sound financially.